There are some people that you will encounter in your life that are people. They're just people. And then there are people that are frickin' legends. Okay, so check this out. I'm scrolling down Facebook when I see this, and I'm like, you cannot be serious. But check this out. Florida man arrested for reportedly tossing a gator into a Wendy's. A Jupiter, Florida man was arrested for throwing a live alligator into a Wendy's restaurant drive-thru east of that place, Loxahatchee, according to WPTV. Now, first off, hold on a second. A Jupiter, Florida man. You know, I lived in Florida for a little while. I lived in Daytona. And, man, that makes me wish I'd have lived in straight up Jupiter. Not because they throw gators through not because they throw gators into your into your restaurants. That's terrifying. But because if I could have said, if somebody could have said, hey man, where do you live? And I could have been like, Jupiter. And I wasn't even being a smartass. Like, I wasn't even putting you off. That's where I live. I live in Jupiter. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. But look, Joshua James, 23 years old, was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, illegally killing, possessing or capturing an alligator, and second-degree larceny. Whoa. According to Paul. Okay, so this, wait a second. Holy shit. Illegally killing? I saw the headline, and I wanted to get my reaction in real time to seeing this article. So you're seeing this at the same time that I'm seeing it, because holy shit. Because that's a lot of charges. Like, now we're getting crazy here. Did he kill the alligator? Okay. He has not been released on bail. Officials with Florida Fish Conservation Commission told WPTV that James was pulled up for his order. James pulled up for his order, and after a server handed him the drink and turned around, James tossed a 3.5-foot alligator through the drive-through window. And that's it. That's all we get. Okay, because the rest of it, I gotta be honest. I'm curious. Wow. I find myself wishing I had more information. Honestly, I find myself wishing I had more information because holy shit, like. Because some of the charges are kind of blowing me away here. Okay, so first off, he's charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Okay, all right. He threw an alligator into a Wendy's drive-thru, and yeah, that's crazy. That technically, wielded in a certain way, is a deadly weapon. It also says he's charged for illegally killing. Did he kill the alligator? Did he throw a dead gator in? I wish I had more information. I read you the entire article. This is what I got. Because it doesn't sound like he's being charged for murder, possessing or capturing an alligator, which is a crime, by the way. That's a real thing. And then second-degree larceny and petty theft. Like, so then he stole some shit, too? Like, man, I wish there was more to this article. This is insanity that this is all the article was. This was it. ActionNewsJax.com is where this was coming from. Just, wow. You know what? The world is crazy. That's what I'm gonna tell you. That's what I'm gonna say right here. Just to look, it is. The world is a crazy place, okay? I had some wild shit happen to me when I was on drive-thru. I did. I had customers try to throw their milkshakes into the window, and if you close the window really fast, there's this really hysterical thing that happens where the milkshake will explode on the window, and then a good portion of it will come back into their cars. It's excellent. It's excellent. It's one of the greatest, best joys you will ever experience in your entire life working in the food industry, is getting back at that D-bag that decided he was going to do something like that. I've been griped at. I've had somebody try to reach their arm into the window. Like, I saw some crazy stuff. And I saw some stuff that wasn't exactly, it didn't make me comfortable. We'll say that. There used to be a guy on, he may have been completely innocent, okay? It was just bizarre. On third shift when I was working for a McDonald's, there used to be this dude that every other night on third shift, and I don't know, maybe he was just getting off of work, but this is a weird routine. He would pull into the drive-thru and he would order a McDouble. We'd give him the McDouble and he would pull around to the front of the store and park in the parking lot. And then shine his headlights in the restaurant. So you can't look out and see him. There's just headlights shining into the restaurant. He would then eat it, I'm assuming, and then he would drive back around and get a second one. Just one. And then he'd drive back to that spot in front of the restaurant, park, and shine his lights into the window. And you'd be like, every time you look towards the front of the store. Then he would drive around, he'd get a third one and a Coke, and then he'd leave. I never figured out exactly what was going on with that, like why he had that routine or what the idea was, but he did it. He did it almost every time I worked third shift, and I have no explanation for it. And of course, you got the weird order from time to time where like there was some violent moments, okay, as well, but I had weird orders where I remember this one guy, I was still fairly new, and I was working front counter, and I'd probably only been on front counter for maybe 2 weeks at that time. I'd been with the company for a little longer. I started in the back doing the cook and stuff like that, prep tables and things. But anyways, this guy come in. He was an older gentleman. And he comes up to the counter and he asks he says he wants a McDouble, a salad, a small Coke that he's going to put Diet Coke in. Please don't fill it up. He would like to fill it up. And that was fine because there was the drink machine right over there. So I don't know why he thought I was going to fill his drink up. Anyway, but regardless, then he said, and I also would like... and that's what he did. And I was like, what the shit? Because I don't know what to do now. I don't know how to respond to the guy. Like, I have no clue where we go from here. And he says, I want the... And I'm like, I don't know what we're doing anymore. He says, the thing. And his wife walks up and says he wants the ranch. The ranch. What? So I turn around, I get the ranch. And I give it to him. And he says, because there's a cowboy. And he grabbed his tray and left. And that was... So I've dealt with weird things before. And I've dealt with a guy that shit all over the bathroom. Horrible story. Absolutely, it was horrible. And I dealt with a guy that literally, he was a homeless person that got super offended one day because my maintenance guy was outside cleaning and he threw away this guy's coffee, evidently. And this guy got super violent to the point where he literally hit my maintenance guy, just straight out punched my maintenance guy in the side of the head. And so my maintenance guy was trying to get away from him, and this guy followed him into the restaurant, and he opened the door, and he come in, and he started coming towards the counter, and he kept... My maintenance guy, he didn't speak very much English. There was very little that I could communicate besides, look, man, can you do this? And then if I had a cook in the back who spoke also Spanish, they would kind of help me out and everything. Nothing wrong with the guy. I'm not trying to say anything like that. He was the maintenance guy. He always did his job. I never had a problem. And if I had to ask something extra, it's true that I needed a little help to ask it, but he never gave me any gruff. And he was never the kind of guy that stood out or like made himself a target or was like an asshole or anything. Okay, when you're homeless, you're already living a stressful situation. So he was mad that one of the only things he had got tossed. But really, I would have just given him another coffee. But anyways, he comes in, and he's got the back of my maintenance guy's shirt, and my maintenance guy is down like this, and he starts saying, Bill, Bill. And so without thinking, and in all honesty, it's crazy that I wasn't fired. But I did come out from behind the counter. And I just did the first thing that came to mind. I kind of put the guy in like a full Nelson lock kind of thing. I just kind of got around his arm, got around his head, and I just kind of ripped him off my maintenance guy, and I just kind of let my arms go, and he just kind of fell on the floor. And then he got up, and he started screaming about his coffee, and screw that guy and everything else, and he tried to get around me for a second. And without thinking, I put myself in between, once again, my maintenance guy and the homeless guy. And I kind of put my hand on his chest and I kind of ducked my head, and I felt myself wanting to do it. I was real close. I balled my hand up and I was gonna fight. And for a second there, it was on. And I needed my job. And so I took my hand and I kept it on his chest, and I ducked my head and I brought this hand back, and he backed off of me when he saw that it looked like I was going to hit him. And so at that point, I was like, calm down. What is going on? And he was like, that mother threw away my coffee and rah, rah. And I said, look, man, I will give you a coffee and you have to leave. You can't come back. I don't expect to see you here tomorrow. So I gave him the coffee. He left. A couple of my coworkers made this big thing of it, like, oh shit, Bill will come out from behind the counter and whoop that ass. I never hit the guy, okay? That's true. And I thought for sure that I was going to be fired. I thought I put my hands on him. It's done. I'm done. I'm going to get fired. And I remember stressing about that for like 2 or 3 days, waiting for my general manager to come in, who I worked with almost every single day. And I was waiting for her to come in and be like, I saw the security tapes or whatever. And you know, my only guess is that she's seen it and said nothing, because I did not get fired. Which is crazy to me. If she missed it on the security cams, I really don't see how, but I should have been fired. Like, you put your hands on somebody, you get fired. Period. It's ridiculous. You can't defend yourself. You can't defend others. You get fired. But that didn't happen to me. I was not fired somehow. I really don't know how. But that was like the most violent thing that I remember ever happening. Like, we were never robbed or anything that extreme or anything like that I can honestly remember. It just wasn't a thing. Luckily it wasn't a thing. It could have very much been a thing on some of the other areas that I worked, because they would send me restaurant to restaurant. And I don't know, maybe that's one of the things that saved me, was I was a shift manager that I could do all 3 shifts. I would easily do the overtime, and anytime they needed me, I would hop to another person's shift. So like, if they were missing a guy on Scenic, or they were, Scenic is where I primarily worked, but if they were missing a guy down on Main, I would just go there and work for them. And I was also one of the only people that was certified to fix the shake machines. So on my days off, almost every single time on my days off, they would call me and offer me overtime if I would come in and fix the machines. So I would go like restaurant to restaurant in the area, and I would fix the shake machines. The infamous shake machines that are always broken, they need cleaned a very specific way, and I actually had the license to be able to take them apart and put them back together. I was certified for that. I was one of the few people in our district, our area, that was allowed to do that. So I would go around and I would do it sometimes on my days off, which means I had no days off. But I had a lot of money for working a McDonald's job, I'll be honest about that. And that was the craziest thing I remember. I can't imagine somebody throwing an alligator into my drive-thru. Wow. Yeah. Anyways, crazy. I saw the headline. I wanted to get my reaction, and I wanted to see if it would bring up, like, memories, something to talk about, and, well, it did. So now you have a couple of my old fast food stories, nothing too big, but, man, he threw it. Wow. Crazy. The world is crazy. It's just crazy. Let me get out of here.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.